Good morning, guys. Welcome to your first day of biology class. I'm super excited to be here with you guys. Sorry I can't be here in person. I'm actually in Gatlinburg, Tennessee right now, but I will see you guys next week. I look forward to meeting you. I've talked to some of you guys before, and some of you guys are new faces. Again, my name is Miss Bartlett. So we are in biology class, so hopefully you guys have the right textbook. It's called The Riot and the Dance by Dr. Gordon Wilson. So if you have not gotten that textbook yet, please let me know, and I'll put a PDF of the first chapter up, because starting tomorrow, you guys have some reading assignments to do, and I want to take a few minutes to explain what I expect from you and what you can expect from me during our time together this year in the study of biology. So we're going to be using Google Classroom. You're going to submit things throughout the week on there, as well as bring hard copies of things into class. Let me sort through my papers here. All right, so each week you are going to get a weekly overview sheet. It's double-sided, right? I will give these to you each week. My helper today should have copies of these and should give them out to you now. So we can kind of go over what each component is. So let's look at the weekly work side, and you'll see there are several different boxes here, and this has got the first box up here is your reading assignments. So I have each day what you should read. This textbook, the chapters are fairly short, so we will cover part one of the textbook first semester, which is all about the cellular processes, and then the second half of the course, our second semester, is the diversity of life. So we're going to cover one chapter a week. The chapters are super short, so most of them are. There are a couple that are intense, but it's going to be okay. It's going to be a great year. You can see what I expect you to read. There's also some online assignments to complete. These are simply assessments for me to see that you got what you should have gotten from the reading. So they are new questions. They're not exactly like the review questions in the book, but if you did the review questions, you should be able to answer my questions. And if you do very poorly on them, that's okay. That doesn't mean you're going to fail the class or get a bad participation grade. That just lets me know that if everybody in the class does bad on one, that means that we need to spend some class time addressing that skill or that topic. So do your best. Don't stress about it though. And I will work with you guys if you're having trouble with Google Classroom. I did send out an email to your parents telling them how to sign you up for Google Classroom. But if there are issues there, I'll be more than happy to help you get that set up and going. There's also a box in here that says Thursday class, August 29th. So there will be a box that will tell you exactly what you need to have turned in to me in class on that day. So for next class on August the 28th, I'll be here in person. You're going to bring in what's called Chapter 1 one-pager. Now, I'll explain what that is in just a little while and give you guys some examples. But each week you will have at least one hard copy assignment that I will want you to bring in to me and turn in. You will get them back at the end of the year. They make a beautiful portfolio of the work and what you've learned. So be looking for that. But the rubric that I'm going to use to grade them, as well as specifics for that assignment, are available on Google Classroom, as well as hard copies. I do have copies, so Miss Julie was supposed to print them off for you guys, but if she didn't, that's fine, because it's on Google Classroom. So don't stress, it'll be fine. There's also honors activities. So if you are interested in pursuing honors credit, there will be an extra activity each week for you to complete, as well as a big project that you'll do throughout the year. More information will be coming out about that shortly. But right off the bat, I just need to know if you are pursuing honors credit or not. And if you do this first assignment, that lets me know you're on track to do the honors. The honors credit is not something that you can jump in halfway through. So if you get to December and you're like, hey, I think I can do the honors work, you need to start from the beginning. It's not something you can jump in halfway. Okay, so moving right along to the next part is our parent assessment. So part of your grade in this course comes from your participation at home as well as your participation in class. So this is how I'm going to keep up with your grades in a timely manner, right? So each week your parent is going to rank how well you did in keeping up with your coursework, managing your time, working through. And there's also a spot on here in case you guys are out of town or maybe you guys are sick. And you need to be excused from that week's assignments. There's a spot for on there. And then a place for your parent to sign, right? So I'm going to need these each week. And they're really how we can kind of be accountable to each other. So on the back side is some really important stuff for you. Here you go. So there are key objectives. So as you're preparing for class on Thursday, you should be able to look at all of these objectives and check off the ones that you are able to do. Ones that you can't read and it be true are things that you need to put in this box right here. So this box is for anything that you want that you struggled with or something that you need me to address in class. Maybe give some examples or kind of shed some light on it that you don't understand. There are also key terms over here that you should know, as well as a place for you to assess your understanding of the material that week. I need you to be honest here, right? Because I will look at these before class and as we're kind of getting started, and I will use what you put here to guide our instruction. If everybody put, I don't really understand this and I need help, that lets me know, hey, we need to take some time and we need to really dig deep and work through this topic. Right, so if you struggle each week, that's okay. That doesn't mean you're going to fail the course. This is just open communication and a way for you to communicate your needs in the course to me as the teacher. Hopefully you don't have any questions about that. It's pretty self-explanatory. So keep up with this. Keep it in a notebook. You will turn it in, and I will give them back to you at the end of the semester. So it's our weekly work. Please try your best to stay on pace. You're going to get the most out of class if you've done the reading and come to class prepared. We will not spend a lot of class time lecturing, right? That's not the best use of our hour together. We will be actively exploring and using the information that we're trying to learn and doing very active things. So if you are at least familiar with the terms in the chapter, that's going to help you get the most out of your class time. So with that being said, let's dive into our first activity. So I've got a question up here on the board. What do scientists do? Because in this class, we are going to become scientists, right? And I want us to think about particularly biologists. What do biologists do? Biologists study living things. Biology, that prefix bio here means living things, as opposed to a chemist, which studies the non-living practical atoms and molecules, not how they come together to make life. So, but scientists in general look at things and try to find patterns. So today you are going to have an opportunity to look at some things and try to explain and predict the pattern. So I want you guys to think about the last time you played a board game. I am a board game nerd. I love to play board games. And hopefully you've all seen one of these, right? So mine's not folded up nice and neatly, but hopefully we can see that this is a dice, right? And if I were to cover up one side of the dice, we would be able to pretty easily, from our experience, predict what is on the missing side of the dice. There are several ways to do this. Some of you guys might know the trick, right? I believe each opposite end of the dice adds up to be 7. So 6 and 1 makes 7. 5 and 2 makes 7. 3 and our missing 1 would make 7. So or you could count 1, 2, 3. Oh, I don't see 4. That one has to be 4. Okay. So a scientist would look at this and would pick out those patterns in order to make a prediction. We all know that the side of that missing dice is 4. But there has to be a pattern there for us to interpret. And that's what scientists spend a lot of their time doing. So today, you are going to be given 2 different dice, and you're going to be asked, as with your group, to come up with a prediction for what you think is on the missing side. So my helper should have the dice to pass out to you, as well as a handout labeled inquiry cubes. So if you see, there are specific questions. So questions 1 and 2 you do in class today. And questions 3, 4, and 5 are kind of like a post-class activity. Some of those you should reflect on. And if you don't have time to do it at the end of class, definitely do it at home. But I need this answered in complete sentences for me by next class, right? And I will tell you that this activity is very frustrating. It is normal to get frustrated and not know. Because in science and in life, sometimes there's no right answer. There's no one who magically knows what you should have gotten. And that's the beauty of science, is that it's constantly being refined. We might have a guess as to what's going on in this pattern, but science will repeat that and repeat that and repeat that and learn more and more and more about that phenomenon and refine those ideas and that theory. That's how science is still a thing, right? I think even back from when I was in school, my undergraduate degree is in biology, and the technology that I learned about has gone so much more advanced, even in just the short time that I have not been in college. So, yeah. So let's look at your first cube. So your first one that you are going to work with, I think I labeled the color dice. So it should be the one that has blue, green, pink, orange, and black on the inside. You'll also notice that at each corner of the face of the dice, there is some kind of information. So spend some time looking at the pattern, and as a group, see if you can come up with any of the patterns, right? If you're overwhelmed, just focus on the big one in the middle, right? And come up with what you think or can predict is going to go in the middle on our different face. Right? So take some time as a group and just spitball, right? We want to do what we call make hypothesis. There is a process for how scientists observe patterns and seek to explain. And the first one of those is to come up with an educated guess. So take some data, look at your dice, and come up with an educated guess as to what you think is going to go on this side. Once you've done the color one, it's a little easier. If you are up for a challenge, you can try the second one, which is the animal one, right? Good luck, have fun, and know it's okay to be frustrated because there is no right answer to this activity. Also, there's no wrong answer to this activity. So, what I expect is for you to at least try. So when I come back to class on August the 29th, I expect everyone to have drawn on their paper what they think is on the 2 missing dice faces and to have answered the reflection questions for this class. I will put some examples of the one-pager on Google Classroom. Bring that as well, your best attempt. I will say about the one-pager assignment, it should not take you very long to do. This is not something that you have to be a perfectionist about. This is not something you need to spend hours and hours and hours of your time doing. It doesn't even have to be pretty. If you don't want to make it colorful, you don't really have to. Although there is evidence that using writing in different colors helps your brain to make new connections and memorize information faster. But it is not a source of contention. My philosophy for a teacher is to be a blessing and not a burden. And I promise you, these types of assignments do have educational benefits. So do your best, but don't stress. And I am available by email if you guys have any questions about the course. Just let me know. I look forward to seeing you guys next week.